For years, Jean-Claude Van Damme looked unstoppable. He could launch a spinning kick higher than almost anyone in Hollywood. His muscles seemed carved from stone. His movies made hundreds of millions of dollars around the world. To millions of fans, he wasn't simply an actor, he was a superhero without a cape. But while audiences watched him defeat villains on screen, Jean-Claude was fighting an enemy no one could see, an enemy that almost destroyed everything he had spent his life building. Because sometimes, the hardest battle isn't against another fighter, it's against yourself. And for Jean-Claude Van Damme, that battle lasted far longer than anyone realized. Long before Hollywood knew his name, Jean-Claude Camille François van Varenberg was a quiet boy growing up in Brussels, Belgium. Unlike the fearless characters he would later play, he wasn't naturally intimidating. He was skinny, shy, frequently bullied. Many children accepted that role. Jean-Claude refused. At the age of 10, his father enrolled him in karate classes, hoping the sport would give his son confidence. What began as self-defense quickly became an obsession. While other children played outside, Jean-Claude trained for hours, every single day. Pain became normal. Discipline became a lifestyle. Years of relentless practice transformed the quiet Belgian boy into one of Europe's most accomplished martial artists. He earned a black belt, won championships, and developed the extraordinary flexibility that would later amaze movie audiences across the globe. But championships weren't enough. Jean-Claude dreamed bigger, much bigger. He dreamed of Hollywood. There was only one problem. Hollywood wasn't waiting for him. He barely spoke English. He had no famous connections, no major acting experience, no guarantee that anyone would even give him a chance. Still, he believed one thing: if he could get to America, he could prove himself. So he packed everything he had and crossed the Atlantic with little more than determination and impossible dreams. Reality arrived quickly. Life in Los Angeles was nothing like the movies. Money disappeared almost immediately. He worked odd jobs, delivered packages, cleaned gyms, waited tables. Some nights he slept in his car because he couldn't afford anything else. Hollywood had thousands of hopeful actors. Most eventually gave up. Jean-Claude refused. He wasn't searching for comfort. He was chasing opportunity. His breakthrough came in the most unexpected way. Instead of waiting for someone to discover him, Jean-Claude began demonstrating his incredible martial arts skills whenever the opportunity appeared. Legend has it that one unforgettable demonstration caught the attention of influential producer Menahem Golan. Jean-Claude didn't give a speech. He didn't read from a script. He simply performed one spectacular kick after another. Sometimes actions really do speak louder than words. Soon afterward, he landed the role that changed everything. Bloodsport, released in 1988, the film became an international sensation. Audiences had never seen anything quite like Jean-Claude Van Damme. He wasn't just another muscular action star. He combined athleticism, speed, elegance, and flexibility in ways that felt almost impossible. Overnight, Hollywood had found its newest action hero. Success came fast. Kickboxer, Double Impact, Universal Soldier, Time Cop, Hard Target. Each film made his popularity even bigger. For a while, Jean-Claude stood alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Bruce Willis as one of the defining faces of action cinema. He had finally achieved the dream that once seemed impossible. But success often introduces temptations that are even harder to defeat than failure. As his career exploded, so did the pressure. Long filming schedules, constant travel, endless expectations. Hollywood wanted bigger movies. Studios demanded greater box office numbers. Jean-Claude began relying on cocaine to keep up with the relentless pace. At first, he convinced himself he was in control. Many addicts believed the same thing. Gradually, the addiction began controlling him instead. Reports later suggested he was spending astonishing amounts of money each week, feeding his habit. Relationships collapsed. Professional opportunities disappeared. The charismatic action hero, who had conquered Hollywood, suddenly found himself watching his career fall apart. The industry moved on. New stars arrived. The phone stopped ringing. For the first time since leaving Belgium, Jean-Claude faced the terrifying possibility that everything had been temporary. But addiction wasn't the only battle hiding beneath the surface. For years, Jean-Claude struggled with emotional highs and devastating lows that he couldn't fully explain. Eventually, doctors diagnosed him with bipolar disorder. The diagnosis answered questions that had haunted him for decades. It didn't erase the pain, but it finally gave his struggle a name. Instead of hiding from it, Jean-Claude began speaking openly about both his addiction and his mental health. At a time when many celebrities feared discussing such issues, his honesty surprised people. He wasn't trying to protect an image anymore. He was trying to save his life. Then came perhaps the most important project of his entire career. Not because it earned the most money, but because it told the truth. In 2008, Jean-Claude starred in JCVD. The film blurred the line between fiction and reality. Instead of playing an unbeatable action hero, he portrayed a fictional version of himself. A washed-up actor facing failure, regret, and public disappointment. One unforgettable monologue revealed a vulnerability audiences had never seen before. There were no spinning kicks, no impossible fight scenes, only honesty. Critics praised the performance. Many called it the finest acting of his career. For the first time, people weren't applauding Jean-Claude because he looked invincible. They admired him because he admitted he wasn't. Today, Jean-Claude Van Damme continues to work, appearing in films, while embracing the legacy he built decades earlier. He trains, exercises, and still performs with remarkable discipline. Fans who grew up watching Bloodsport now introduce his movies to their children. His influence extends far beyond martial arts. He inspired countless athletes, actors, and filmmakers to believe that determination could overcome impossible odds. Yet perhaps the greatest lesson from Jean-Claude's life has nothing to do with action movies. It's about resilience. Because there was a time when he lost almost everything: his career, his reputation, his confidence, perhaps even himself. But instead of allowing those failures to become the final chapter, he chose to write another one, a better one. Today, when audiences watch Jean-Claude Van Damme, they don't simply see an action hero. They see a survivor, a man who escaped poverty, conquered Hollywood, lost his way, and somehow found the strength to begin again. His greatest victory wasn't winning movie fights. It wasn't becoming famous. It wasn't earning millions. It was standing back up after life had knocked him down harder than any opponent ever could. Because in the end, the strongest people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who refuse to stay there. And that's the real story of Jean-Claude Van Damme. Not the kicks, not the muscles, not the action, but the courage to keep fighting, long after the cameras stopped rolling.